The Do This podcast is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network. In this episode, Bob Stewart and Chad Hyams engage in an enlightening conversation with Missy Webb about her remarkable business transformation. Over the last year, Missy has strategically revamped her operations to achieve dynamic growth and efficiency. The episode dives into her innovative use of Brivity's CRM tools to pivot from lag to lead measures, allowing for a laser-focused approach to daily activities that spur business growth. We hope you enjoy this Do This podcast episode presented by Brivity.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, Missy Webb.
Good evening, good night.
Hello.
We're done?
Well, I tell you the whole thing. You got to say all of it.
Okay, let's do this. Missy, tell us, what do we do? Ladies and gentlemen, before we jump in and start talking about the things Missy's been doing in her business recently that have been, Missy, I mean, you have one of the more dramatic turnarounds of, I don't know, you've had a good business, but you've really dialed your business in the last 6 to 9 months. And so we're here to talk about it today. Before we do that, do me a favor. Whenever Chad and I get together, we make the people we get to hang out with introduce themselves. So,
I'm aware. I listened to your podcast.
Okay. Chad and I know who you are, but tell everybody else, who's Missy Webb.
I'm Missy Webb. Hi. I love golden retrievers.
I grew up with golden retrievers, Missy. My mom had 2 when I was growing up, or we had 2, and big fan. Best dog.
Have a dog named Fizbo, for sale by owner. I run a couple teams in Oklahoma in 3 locations. We have 27 partners, and we use Brivity.
And you're going to run the New York City Marathon.
I am going to run the New York. I haven't run a marathon since 2016, and it's time. I will turn 50 next month, and it's a great way to celebrate it.
Congratulations. And you're also in the top of my inbox every single day as I get my property updates from Missy Webb.
Wait, are you moving to Oklahoma?
No.
Is that the natural progression? You go from wherever?
No,
Florida?
but at one point we must have, and Missy's just never let me out of her database, so I get an update every day on my property options.
Okay, good.
She's using Brivity right. She's got mind share with me. If someone asked me to recommend a realtor in the area, there's no doubt she'd come right to the top of my mind because I see her in my inbox every single day.
Good.
Okay, Missy, let's talk about something you've done in your business recently that's made a dramatic impact on you and your agent's success. What are you guys doing?
I think the most
differently than you were doing before that helped you really ramp the business together.
Yep. The biggest thing, when I was thinking about spending time with you and thinking about the biggest thing that Brivity has really helped me do, it helped me take control of my business. Because I used to look at lag measures and we've closed this many and we've pended this many. And I was never quite able to make the adjustments necessary or diagnose my business and control it. And it's changed everything by plugging into some of the Brivity tools with goals, leaderboards, all of those things.
Okay. So you said lag measures, and we all know what that means, but in a real estate business, the lag measures are closings, essentially, right? Now, pendings, you probably look at pendings, closings, listings, right? How many listings do we have? How many of those have gone pending, or how many buyers do we have pending? And ultimately, how many closings? So those are the things we put on the board in the real estate room or have for years, right? I think if you walk into most real estate offices, that stuff you're always going to see it somewhere. Right. And so that you guys had been tracking your business, or you've been thinking about your business, and that what drove you to want to get upstream? So, and before you answer that, so you're now looking at lead measures.
He's had too much coffee.
Good.
You're not looking at lead measures, right? So what are some of well, when I got on, Chad, I will tell you, when Missy and I were on here before you, were you late? Why were you so late?
I was
Anyway,
on time.
she was like, where's your
He was
energy?
looking at my email.
That's right.
She said, where's your energy at? So she flipped the switch in my head. So you're looking at lead measures now. Talk about what are your lead measures you're looking at?
Well, for those that don't know, to me, lag measures are things that have happened in the past and I can't change that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to focus on what I could change. Okay, so what can I change? I can change how many people I contact. I can change how many conversations I have. I can change how many appointments I set. So it basically the activities that lead me to the pendings, the closings, the numbers that everybody wants to put on the big board that says, "Ooh, look what we did. We're a big deal."
Okay. So when
I love the commonality, because Bob, this came up in last week's conversation, right? We got into having the lead measure, the lag measure conversation, and how Brivity is such a powerful tool to help you actually see the lead and the lag, and then be able to do the math to figure out, okay, this much of a lead equals this much of a lag, right? They say if you cut 500 calories a day, that's 1 pound every week you'll lose in calories, right? Seeing that, oh, if I contact this many people, it's this many pendings or this many closes. Brivity can do all that math for you and let you know all of that. And then forgive me for just going giggling over here. If anybody sees me, I know I it's usually only the speaker who's talking. It's Bob's caffeine intake, and when he moves so fast like that, like his fingers become this blur with the white screen or green screen thing he's got going on. It totally keeping me entertained, Bob. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Chad. It's when I get up in the morning, I think, what am I going to do today to entertain Chad?
Yes, everybody should. Missy does. She sends me an email every day.
Missy,
Yes,
how
sir.
did you get your team bought into the idea of focusing on those things?
Okay, so
Or before, maybe your team was always
Yeah.
doing it, but you were off somewhere else, or no?
well, so the team has been doing it, but I haven't been able to coach them well or help them, because we didn't have data.
Okay.
So we start with our business planning and we do a deep dive on our different lead gen levers and their net income goals. And we drill that down to the activities. And then we put those in Brivity and we track them. And then I actually have a really ridiculous flow chart that I made that I can send you. And it's called Coach Yourself. And it's just this little flow chart, and it's are you where you want to be on your goal? If yes, great. If no, then it's okay. Have you made the dials? If no, stop everything and go do that. If yes, then are you not talking to the right people, or do you need help with your closings, your conversion, your scripts? And it just kind of drills it down. But it's either dials, it's the conversations you're having, or you're not calling the right people. And you can track all of that.
And
I love those flow charts. I love the if yes, go this way, if no, go that way. And then you end up at the bottom and it takes you back to the top and says, go make more dials. Right. And it's a trick, really, because it's just to get you to do what you're supposed to be doing in the first place. But what a great way to have them a simple, easy thing. Now, Missy, if we know it's the activities, we know it. That's the lead measure, right? The lag measure is your bank account. The lag measure are the closings, the family's help, whatever terminology you like to use for it to get going on it. The lead measure is absolutely having the right enough conversations with enough people, saying the right. I mean, Ben's broken down the real estate success principles. I mean, it was over a decade ago when Ben brought me those and said, "This is the rule from now on." How do you get your agents bought in to that? And do you set a standard of it that says, look, these are the numbers, this is what you're going to follow? Or is it they find their number based on what they want the lag measure to be?
So it's always, in my opinion, it's always their goal, because, I start by calculating all of my partners' goals. And then if that's not exactly what the team plan is, then I know I need to hire more people or hire to specific lead gen levers. So it's always theirs. And a couple of things that we do, the most important thing is it's just data. It's neutral, it's information. And when you have information, you can make a decision. So we remove guilt, shame, any of that. But then on the flip side of that, we also make it so transparent. Every power up team meeting, we're looking at the leaderboards, we're in Slack, like, oh, I did this many dials. So there's transparency and we celebrate the wins.
Data, not drama, right? Isn't that what we heard last week again, Bob? It was data, not drama. When it came to all of this, Missy, you use the leaderboards. I'd love to dive a little more into the leaderboard. Often on a team, there's kind of that one or two agent that are far and away exceeding everybody else. They're just crushing it, or they're doing something. Do you then expand the leaderboard so that they start competing with people elsewhere and outside, so that they remember that, hey, I might be the number one on our team, but I'm really the number 743rd when I'm looked at as all this. So I'm not as good as I think I am in that sense. I don't get cocky. I don't get arrogant. I get out there and I just keep doing it. How do you use the leaderboard to help the agents that are at the bottom and don't want to know that they're 7,000th place, and help the leaders who are at first that maybe need that push still?
Yeah. So with the leaders, sometimes we do look at, I'm a place team. So we look at where we are in place, where we are in Brivity, where we are on the team. And then we also have three different, this is where stuff gets really fun. We have three different Brivity CRMs because we have teams in three different markets. So we are always comparing those as well. If someone is really, really, really crushing it every single time and they have more capacity, then I actually encourage them, you know what, let's look at your goals again. I think you can do more. If they're happy with their life balance and the income that they have, awesome. Then I want to focus on, hey, look, they just went to Disney. Good job. For those at the bottom, I have a director of sales that helps me with Brivity audits and our one-on-ones around them. And so he'll dive into the conversations and kind of that framework with the diagnostics. I mean, is this still your goal? Is there something going on in your personal life? Just coaching around it. That's the whole coaching conversation.
Missy, do you mind if I share like our connection over the last year? Okay, so you haven't always been like leading your group this way, right? And I don't know how long ago it was now, 9 months ago, a year ago, something. You came to Ben and I and said, hey, I want to be more accountable to myself, but I'd like to use you guys as a crutch to do that. And I don't even know if crutch isn't the right word, but and so every day for a really long time, as you kind of reworked your business, you sent what you did in the business to me. Like we texted every single day. And can you just talk for a minute about getting people to follow you when you're telling them to do it versus when you're in the trenches with them doing it?
Yep. And I'll go deep. I'll go really deep and say the things that you know about. I was going through last year one of the biggest personal life changes, and it was one of the hardest years I think I've ever had personally. And I knew that I needed to turn my business around, and I knew that I had never really led by example. And I'm telling everyone, hey, it's the activities, it's the dials, but I had built a business with Sphere referrals, and so business would flow to me because I had. So I was beginning to feel convicted that it was so out of integrity for me not to do it myself. And I was scared. I was scared to do it. So I made a commitment. There was a challenge that was put out, and I joined the challenge. And the challenge was to do 5,000 Brivity dials in 2 months. And as a newly single mom, I did it. I made it work. And there were some nights, 8 p.m., I'm finishing my dials. But I started using the leaderboard personally, and I would share with you my dials, my conversations. And my team saw it, my partners, and then they got inspired. And then they started doing it. And it was slow. Like that analogy, my favorite one about big change is, a ship that has to right itself in the ocean. It's going to take it's going to be a big, slow turn. And it was. And there were moments that I would share with you where, hey, this person showed up, or this person did this, or I was blown away by this. And it took me doing it too, and making sure that I was keeping my promises. And it turned the entire thing around. And now we all use the leaderboard.
It was really impressive. Like you have built something and look, you had an amazing foundation already. You had a great business already, but you built that business over, I don't know, a decade plus, right? And that's why you were in a position to be able, but as we bring these partners into our world and you're bringing these people into your world, you're telling them, hey, I can help you build a business faster than I built my business, right? But to then say, okay, do this, but I'm going to sit here and reap the benefits of, which you could have done, by the way, but I don't think your team ever would have rallied behind you. By the way, and I would say this to anybody out there listening, Missy, you stated what you were going to do. You didn't do it every single day. There were days where you'd say, you know what, man, I didn't do it. I didn't get it done today. I fell off, but the next day you'd get right back on there. And I think some of that was finding that accountability partner, because I'll bet, and I'm like this, I'm the person I'm most willing to lie to and let down is myself.
Always.
Right. But because you went and found somebody that you didn't want to let down, right? You didn't want to let me down. You didn't want to let Ben down. Even on those days when you let yourself down, you were willing to come to us and say, hey, I let myself down today. I let you guys down. I'm not going to do it tomorrow. And what happens is, I don't know, like if you don't have that, then you become okay with letting yourself down a couple, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Right. And you eliminated that. What has been the most surprising thing for you as it relates to your team because of all of this? Something you didn't expect out of the team, or like what's been the most surprising, or maybe the most awesome?
I think the most awesome is just watching the energy that it creates when we look at the leaderboard and when we dial, and it really has shifted to a culture of all the cool kids dial.
It's one of my favorite words, and that's hypocrisy, right? And being a hypocrite is saying, do this while I do something else, right? It's telling your kids they have a bedtime and you don't have a bedtime that you don't have to worry about, right? It's telling your team go dial when you don't have to sit there and do the dials. It's me telling you go run X number of miles because you want to train for the New York Marathon, and I'm not going to go run or do anything like that, right? It's being a hypocrite, and
or send me an ice cream cone selfie.
Right, not a good idea, right? It's being a hypocrite that puts people off, and they feel it even if they don't know it, right? They know you're telling them to do something that you're not willing to do, which is one of the best. I mean, Ben was always willing. He'd make the dial. I remember him teaching a class and saying, oh yeah, and he just scrolled through his phone and randomly dialed somebody right there in class, because people were like, you can't do that stuff. He said, if I'm going to ask you to do it, I'm going to do it. And folks get that from this, right? If there's anything Missy's telling you, yeah, the leaderboard's powerful. Yes, getting people bought into their goals, having standards, having that flow chart that we're going to come back to because people want it. You're going to have to tell me how we get it. By being in a position where we're going to reverse engineer what the activities are, I'm going to want to ask you about, but it all comes down to stop telling people what to do if you're not willing to do it.
And that the thing, and maybe I can add another answer to Bob's question, because that is the thing that comes out of it. When you don't have the data, then you can hide in the confusion. Like, I'm not really sure who I'm calling. I don't really know what I need to be doing. When you have the data, there is no confusion. So then it's always something internal. If I know what I need to do, why am I not doing it?
Yeah, and you guys going through some stuff, so it's good for you to use it almost as a way to focus that energy and say, I could be in this place in my life. And there's so many people out there who are probably watching this saying, I'm lost, my life is upside down, or this is happening. If you can have something to focus on, in your case right there, it was making those dials, it was doing that stuff. It's going to bring you some clarity. It's going to bring you some focus and some power so that the other stuff in your life can come together instead of you just being this blob of, I don't know, and everything's falling apart on me and it's Eeyore and the world's raining on me, right? We're not looking for Tigger. We just don't need Eeyore happening. Okay.
Yeah.
I love David said, Debbie calls that hiding behind a lack of clarity.
David also said he wants to be like Missy, and he doesn't have hair like that. So, I mean, it's a long shot, Dave. It's not happening for either of us, right?
Hold on though. On that idea of a lack of clarity or finding clarity, I would assume. So the leaderboard is one thing. Are you guys using the sales funnel in your coaching conversations with your agents?
Absolutely. Do you want to hear the thing that I just discovered actually when I was preparing for this?
Should we say no, or should we just say yes because the answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Forget about
when you are growing something, it's when you are growing and improving, it's always going to be messy, and you're always going to find the next thing that you want to focus on. So right now, what we're focusing on is logging, because if you look at our sales funnel, we have signed, I think 7, but we've closed like 30 something in one of our little CRMs. I'm like, So we're not going back and finishing when we have an appointment, logging that as signed. And yeah, we also look at our BBAs. We look at our BBAs and our pipeline are coming soon. Like, we use every bit of that.
So for me, I look at a lot of databases, and I know at Place in our world across, our couple thousand agents, it takes them 34 contacts to get to an appointment. To me, that data right in that portion of the sales funnel where I can see how many contacts did I have and how many appointments, to me, that one, going from conversations to appointments is probably one of the primary places that a lot of us could focus to improve the business. What are you doing with your agents to help them in that gap right there? Because that's one of Ben's real estate success principles. It's say the right things. So how are you guys looking at that particular portion where it's how many contacts are we getting, and then how many appointments does it take us to get to, or how many contacts does it take us to get to an appointment? What are you doing to improve that?
So we're working on scripts, and we're also looking at things like, is it that we didn't log? I've got a couple that still want to talk to the sphere with the cell phone, and then we don't go back. And so it's just diving in to figure out, okay, is it this or is it this? And with some, it's just script work in general. With some, it's personality styles that aren't quite as comfortable with closings. So we just coach around it. Like, what is it?
What does script work look like for you guys? Is that you got one agent that's having trouble with it, so you sit down with that one agent and you work with them?
We do it
okay,
Monday through Thursday, every day, every morning.
And is there a focus related to?
Do you just pick a script based on, oh, I see somebody suffering with this script, or do you not pay attention? You're just saying this is the script. We're going to learn this, even if it's not. I mean, how do you pick the script?
It kind of depends. I just I like to rotate through them. And if there is a thing that a lot of people are struggling with, we'll focus on that. So most recently, we've been focusing on the lead pond, because in our lead pond, we have lead sources, timelines, some were warmer than others. And one thing I've noticed is if you can get a script that is general enough that you don't need to, like, my partners wanted to do the prep work. Let me go in and read all the notes. No, just hammer it. So we worked on getting a generic enough script. And I actually stole something from Katie Centinella. Best thing I've ever heard.
This is your real estate agent?
Yes, it's so good. So we do that. If it's website viewers, it's, hey, this is Missy, your real estate agent. I'm the one that's been sending you the homes for sale. Hey, I'm curious. And then you just go into it. You don't even have to say where you connected when you're doing the automated drips. And so that's what we've been focusing on, is just making it vague enough that we don't waste time looking at all the notes.
Because when you go
Another
look at
place
the
people
notes,
hide, by the way.
right? You go look at the notes. It's 45 seconds a minute, it's 3 minutes. It's a really old lead, so now it's 4 minutes, and you call them and they don't answer, and it's just 4 minutes wasted, right? Like,
It's
you
the
can do
agent
that.
who searches the MLS for a property that came on the market. It's like, call them before you even bother sitting there to look for a house to sit, because you need to talk to them anyway. Stop doing the prep work. Pick up the damn phone. Now, Bob gave us those numbers. Bob, repeat that again. What was you said 34 is the
34 contacts to a buyer or seller appointment. It was what it took last year. And there were times last year where it'd come down and it was easier to find an appointment, right? Towards the end of the year, it was up, right? In the last quarter of the year, it was up around 37 or 38 contacts to an appointment.
Missy, do you use that number because that's the generic number that Brivity is, or do you sit there with each agent and say, you had a 42 or you had a 28 on the conversion ratio, so your goals mean this to that? Or do you go, how do you reverse engineer that? How much work are you putting into that to help them realize how many dials they really need to make to have X conversations, et cetera, et cetera?
I do both. If it's someone that is a little bit newer, I like to use kind of a bigger number, because we're probably going to work on some scripts and conversion. And if it's someone that's not logging well, I'll use average. If it's someone that's actually really great at always getting in all of their activities, then we use their numbers. So it kind of depends on what the partner needs. May I share one more big thought, by the way?
Absolutely.
As I'm putting this together, Bob, when you said that about 34 contacts to an appointment, I wrote it down. I'm literally taking notes right now on something where I'm supposed to be a panelist. The other thing that has been wildly helpful in Brivity is learning it, being learning based. There are so many tools, and when they all work together, all of a sudden your business is firing on all cylinders. So like so far, we've talked about the goals, the leaderboard, the lag measures. We've talked about the transactions, the pipelines, the sales funnels. They all work together. So I think also being learning based is one of the biggest things I do with Brivity. I even have a shirt. Like, I bought a shirt because I love it so much.
I'll bring you a free one. I'll bring you another free one.
It's okay. I bought 5. I got tired.
What in my head, what you're talking about, like the label I would put on that is compounding. Like all these things, like, any one of these things could probably help your business a little bit, right? But when you start to do it all, and then you start to do it consistently, right? When you start to use all the pieces consistently, then your efforts can start to compound. And Chad, we go back to compound interest. Our brains can't even wrap around the math of compound interest. And when you're starting to do all these things in your business, Missy, it's why your business has really taken off, right? And you've got all these people like, let me get on board for this rocket ship that we're watching take off. It's because of the compounding. It's because of all the things. But you couldn't learn all the things at once, right? So every day you showed up, and that David wrote in something. You guys were consistently reliable versus occasionally extraordinary.
Yes,
right?
and Bob, and it has been about 9 months, and I laser focused on all of this. This time last year, I think I had 8 pending for one team. This year, I'm running 3, and between the 3, we have 35 pending. Wow. So if that tells you that doing it all and doing it all in will change your business.
Can I ask 2 questions?
Always.
First,
I may not answer them.
The first one I know you'll answer. How does everybody get, because they all wanted your flow chart, your coach yourself thing. How are they going to get that?
Let me do this.
Bob, you going to send it out? How are we doing that?
I will send it to Josiah so he can make it look pretty and make sure that it looks nice, because I'm a little cheeky and sarcastic. So let me be sure I'm putting something out there that is okay.
That's what I like about Missy.
Very cheeky.
Yeah.
But yes, I will send it and then we'll get it
And
to Bob and Bob can share it with
we can maybe get it wrapped around the recording of where we put this recording out.
You can make it look better.
There we go. So that's one.
What's question 2?
Question number 2, quick answer, because everyone's dealing with this. If they've got a team and they've got Brivity, they're dealing with this. This is the agent I would be. I'm not going back and putting everything in. I'm that agent, right? I'm the one who's going to be texting people right from my phone, calling people from my phone. What are the tricks you're using to get those renegade agents who are having success to use the tool properly so you do get that data?
The truth is you can't. You can't every time. I still have 1 or 2 partners. They're experienced agents. They came in with a large sphere business and, they'll go in and they'll follow up in Brivity. They'll make their dials and they still have a lot of people that will just call them on their cell phone and they don't. It's a work in progress. And they're starting to understand by seeing like the sales funnel, how important it is to be able to predict their business and their income. And when there's things like, oh, well, we were going to go on vacation and I don't think we can afford it this year. Okay, we can change that.
Yeah, you can't we can't get people to change their behavior unless they have a reason that they're seeking, right? Or something they're seeking or going after. If they are happy with the amount of production they're doing, they're likely not changing their behavior. But when they wanted to go on that family vacation and they weren't able to do it this year because they didn't hit their goals, that's when we can start to try to rally them to our vision of how to run their business. You are amazing. The fact that you were willing to spend 30 minutes with us when you do have 3 real estate teams. I know you've got a mortgage opportunity that you guys are building out there in Oklahoma right now. Like, you're wearing so many hats, Missy.
And somehow she keeps emailing me every day.
I just want to tell you, you've given me an incredible amount of inspiration this year. I get like choked up even thinking about that I was able to be a part of like this massive transfer, a tiny part of this big transformation in your life and your business. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Chad, I'll see you next week, I guess. Missy, I don't know when I'll see you again, but hugs to you. And I hope it's very, very soon. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, all.